Time to talk Bayou Bengals here at the Voice of College Football, SEC. Please like the video, share the videos out on social media, because if you enjoy the content, others will as well. And subscribe, of course. We got Lon Phillips Sullivan on the line to break down LSU. Lon, how we doing tonight?
Doing good. How about you, my man?
Doing well, doing well. June recruiting has been just a madhouse across the country for everyone. As we break down LSU with the first 2 weekends in the books, what are some of the highlights?
It's been a madhouse. A lot's been going on the last 2 weekends, but you know, there's some big things that have stuck out very quickly here. You know, number one has to be the rise of Quincy Wiggins. He came into camp. Not too many knew about him. When they saw him, the measurables stuck out: 6'6". I think it was just under 250. Unbelievable defensive end athlete from Madison Prep. But here's the thing: he's only had 1 year in football. He was playing basketball. Kind of reminds me of Caleb Chason in a way, who did the same. And Quincy Wiggins went out there and absolutely showed out in camp. Lucas Taylor, he's another one another player who decommitted from LSU. He's an Alabama native, decommitted and went to Mississippi State. He lost big time in some of those reps to Quincy Wiggins because Quincy Wiggins was so unbelievable out there. He got Coach O going, and LSU's already firmly offered him. Alabama's in the hunt, of course. Pete Golding's going nuts trying to get this guy. He's very long, very athletic. He led Madison Prep's unbelievable undefeated defense this year, where they only allowed 2 teams to score more than 20 points on them, and it was 20 and 22. Most of the time it was 6 and under. I mean, 3 shutouts, including in the title game. Madison Prep walloped some people, and Quincy Wiggins was extremely influential on that defensive line. He has to be the number one defensive line priority at this point for LSU. You got to protect the home talent, and Quincy Wiggins, he has to go to the top there. But also Shamar Stewart took an LSU visit. Shamar Stewart, unbelievable defensive end. This guy, he hung out for a whole weekend with Andre Carter last weekend here. Not this last one, but the one before. He came into town for 3 days. I believe it was with his coach, Shamar Stewart. Got dressed in the purple and gold, went out to Death Valley, had an interesting time, had a good time with Coach O. Talked a lot about Andre Carter's vision and that type of thing. And we'll see where we stand with Shamar Stewart, but he's a lot tougher to get, this cat out of Miami. But Shamar Stewart, really like his talents, but it's getting tough out there with these defensive ends because everybody's going after him. Another one, Omari Abor, another 5-star. He just recently visited this last weekend. Ohio State's in for him. Quinn Ewers is a buddy of his. He's trying to recruit Omari Abor over to Ohio State. I hear that Ryan Day, laid out the red carpet, scarlet and gray red carpet there, and pulled out all the stops to try and pull in Omari. And Oklahoma are supposed to be in the lead, according to Steve Wiltfong, which is interesting to me because I didn't really think of that. Oklahoma coming into the picture there for Omari Abor, the 5-star defensive end out of Duncanville, Texas. But here's the thing. LSU are coming in, and there's something for them to think about now because his family really enjoyed their visit this last weekend. And, of course, Andre Carter, he has a great relationship with all of these recruits. Everyone wants a piece of his 25 years of experience in the NFL. 87 career sacks. How are you going to develop my son to the next level? Or the recruit's asking, show me some of your tricks, show me some of the things your moves, all that type of stuff. So it's very attractive for these defensive linemen to want to go to LSU. But also on the offensive line, Will Campbell showed out like crazy. He just proved why he's a strong LSU commit, going to be that pinnacle left tackle for the program for 4 years. Just an unbelievable steel wall, very brutal, vicious guy. I mean, he had some takedowns and stuff like that at the IMG workout there in Bradenton this last weekend, as well as showing out in the LSU camps the week prior. Will Campbell has been an unbelievable competitor out there, just breathtaking talent. Really can't find too much fault with him. He did lose some reps to Walter Nolan at this last camp. So, like anybody, he's going to lose reps. No one's indestructible. But Will Campbell is showing to be one of the prime, absolute great talents in LSU, Louisiana high school, history, I feel, for the last, 20 years. Will Campbell has to be up there. 5-star. Unbelievable. You got to see some of this tape. But also Kelvin Banks Jr. and Cam Dewberry, both teammates, they came with their families to LSU's campus. Had a great time, especially Kelvin Banks Jr. more specifically. Banks Jr. and his family had a fantastic time talking. They weren't able to talk to new offensive line coach Brad Davis during that visit, sadly. But they were able to talk to a lot of other people like Mark Hudson, who's in on that, Lee Grimes, new analyst, but they were not able to talk to new offensive line coach Brad Davis yet. But still, they had a very positive visit. Some more Texas talent LSU is going after there, and in the O-line category. Another out of Texas, 5-star corner Denver Harris. Mark, this guy was hosted by Eli Ricks when he came on campus, and that's what it's about. Is come be another successful 5-star corner at LSU, continue that DBU brand, and that's been attractive to Denver Harris. He loves that brand. He has a good relationship with Corey Raymond, but I've been told by a strong insider here that Alabama are going to be tough to beat for Denver Harris. That was the quote. Alabama are going to be tough to beat. So, he's already been in pictures with Nick Saban before LSU had the chance to visit him, but his family showed up at midnight on Thursday, had a great time through the weekend. Once again, hosted by Eli Ricks. How can you get better than that as a DB? Hung out with some of the DBU characters. Positive visit for the 5-star, but we'll see. It's going to be tough. It's going to be LSU, Alabama all the way. Probably no decision until signing day, though, Mark.
Talking LSU football, we got Lon Phillips Sullivan on the line, and you see his site right there. So all you have to do is type that into the browser, and you can find him right there, lsuodyssey.com. We encourage you to head on over there, check out Lon's latest work. So as we look at the rest of the weekends and how they line up in some of these lists of further visitations that are going to be coming into Baton Rouge, what stands out? Who stands out to you?
Well, actually, before that, Jake Johnson had an incredible camp. I mean, we got to talk about this guy. Jake Johnson went absolute nuts out there. I mean, just catching everything, showing out to not only be the #1 tight end in America for the 2022 class, but one of the best players overall, just totally overall. But as far as upcoming visits that I'm excited about, also Emory Jones had a hell of a camp. Looks to be a surefire soon LSU commit. Emory Jones is one to keep your eye on as well. And he actually was able to have some one-on-one coaching with new offensive line coach Brad Davis. And it looked to be fantastic because that's what the camp's all about, not just how you drill. It's about how well you can handle the coaching. Can you be coached? Can you handle this type of coaching? Or are you soft when this happens? That type of thing. Emory Jones was fantastic out there. But, Mark, moving on, like you said, to the upcoming visitations, June 18th, I'm excited for Kamari Wilson to show up to town. That's going to be fantastic. I really – I don't know. I don't know what to expect when it comes to who LSU is battling for Kamari Wilson's services. I'm sure Alabama are in the hunt there. I'm not really sure who else is in the hunt for Kamari Wilson because all I've really heard is that LSU are in a good position because of that relationship with Durante Jones. He has had verbal conversations with Coach Ed Orgeron, especially now in the contact period. Kamari Wilson, he's fantastic, and he recently said to Steve Wiltfong, LSU, they just got Coach Jones from the Minnesota Vikings. We talked about some ball, and LSU is going to be using their safeties a lot. I think it's a great place that can develop me at the most top level and get me to the next level. That's exactly his quote. Fantastic to get him on campus. Walter Nolan will be visiting on June 25th as well, the 5-star defensive tackle. I'm not exactly sure if we're going to be able to get Walter Nolan. He's not in my predictions right now. He's somebody LSU's going after. He's a surefire target. But I think Florida, Alabama are more probably going to seal up Walter Nolan more than LSU. Still, it would be fantastic for LSU to continue that push. And if we got Walter Nolan, I would not be surprised because it's that pull of that allure of Andre Carter.